Alright, I got her full of +4 in the transmission. I got everything hooked up. Got one side jacked up. Pretty sure either the G80 is, the locker thing in there is either broken or non-existent. Allegedly it's a G80. I mean, it's a 4-wheel drive, so it's supposed to be one. And the guy said it had one. But it may or may not. Got it hooked up, just in case it decides to take off. Let's give her a little chooch here. What's Hickamajig call it there? Cosby in a can, yeah. Ow. Oh, can't do that and hold the phone at the same time. Whoops. Alright. That has been yoked. Yeah, look at my nice clean work area. Hooray. That's clean compared to most of them. Alright. Ends watch the rear end. I'm going to try to see if it'll crank again. I know it started before. Let's do it. Oop, there it goes. Come on. Oh, derp. Whoops. Forgot to turn it on. Now here's my ignition key. Turn that on. And it should click. Clicks when I turn the key off. Let's turn the key back on here. On. There we go. Okay, key is on. That's the light green with a black striped wire here. Oh, yeah, since you probably noticed, my stylish footwear. It's aerodynamic. I tried hooking this stupid OBD2 connector into here, but turns out the pinout is completely wrong, and it's nothing like what they say the pinout is. That's irritating. If you're buying OBD2 connectors off Amazon, be prepared to wring them out manually because they're probably not going to be the right pinout. Alright, give her some more ether there. Alright, yuck. Yeah, that tastes like poop. I mean, I don't know what poop tastes like, but I'm assuming it would probably be similar to that. Alright, let's give her a crank and a couple seconds of run and see what it does. Neat. Of course, that's only one wheel spinning. It was well over fast enough to engage a G80 if it does exist. So it probably doesn't have one or else it's broken. I'm assuming since this looks like it was probably a plow truck at one point in time, I'm guessing it's probably broken. So I'll have to either fix that, replace it, or just weld that damn thing. Although with a 97-inch wheelbase, welding might not be that great of an idea. Oh, look at me, I'm fancy. I can get my little angle finder here. And it works. It's a cheap one off Amazon, like $17, but it does work. Alright, so that's in first gear, I guess. Oh yeah, I had to do a little bit of porting work. Took my El Cheapo Dremelo tool here, just kind of, since this is a ridiculous pinion angle, and I don't have the cardan joints yet, and whatnot, I kind of just had to give her a little bit of porting work there, but yeah, you can see light, and I made exception, yeah. Whatchamacallit, for when it warms up. Anyways, yeah, you can see light through both sides, barely, so that works. So that's good. And this thing, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this yet. I'll probably just drill through it and put a pin in. But that might come into play when I put my double cardan joint in there. I do have a shorter drive shaft in my giant pile of drive shafts up yonder. I got probably 30-something of them. I bought those off a guy for $50. That was pretty cool. Best $50 and best trip to Soviet Pennsylvania stand I ever made. There it is. So that's a, to convert from a Dodge, what is that, a 7260? Haha! It takes a Moog 317, as evidenced by the paint marker on the drive shaft. And to go from an external clip Moog, or not Moog, but whatever, 1310 type of joint. It's got the 1.063 caps. Takes a 372. I think I'm going to make a little bit more of a permanent marking on there. I might engrave it or something and then watch it crack, blow up right where the engraving is. I don't know, whatever. Alright, so next up I got to work on the brakes. I was starting to take these lines off and I found out that every single one of them is completely jammed rusted solid. Whoops, I can't lean on that tire anymore, can I? Because it's up in the air. So I got to make new ones. I'm just going to use my copper nickel stuff I got. And I'm going to try to adapt down to the 1/4 inch junk right at the fitting so I can run 3/16 copper nickel everywhere because I've got a whole bunch of it. I don't have any 1/4 inch yet. Or I used it all actually. That'll work. I use shock mounts and I got to take this differential cover off of here and see why the hell it's not G80ing. I know it is a 10 bolt. I think it's an 8.6, but well, that's a funky angle, isn't it? Maybe I should move that motor a little bit. Yeah, I should probably put them 2 bell housing bolts in there too. Whatever. It'll run. That seems like it doesn't mind. The drive shaft doesn't make any noise now. It was kind of making a little tapping sound until I ported it properly so that the U-joints have got enough room to move. Of course, it's not going to be able to stay like that because it's going to get god-awful hot and burn up. So it'll probably stay like that and I'll just keep spares in the truck. No, I won't. Then I'll just be stuck somewhere and wait a day or 2 for it to get delivered. That works. There's a way to do it. And I'm planning on drilling one more bolt hole in these spring mounts, or spring hangers, because they've only got 3 bolts in each one, and I don't really trust that, even though it's going to be like a 2,500 pound car sitting on it. You know, 2,000 or about 1,800 with the motor out. Motor, transmission, and the axle and all that other suspension junk. Still, I'd kind of like to have all 4 bolts in because, well, they actually had 6 from the factory, but when I got it, the bracket that talks to the bottom 2 was totally rusted out, so I guess that'll be alright. Whatever. I mean, it's a car, and it's not like I'm going to be jumping it. Alright, cut to scene 3 months later with me jumping it. No, that didn't work. Works for them other guys. I'm going to take this fan off of here. For anybody that needs to know, to take these Dodge fans off that are irritating, there's like 4 holes in this pulley on the water pump. You just stick something into 2 of them and make it stay there. Hold the water pump still, and you turn that stupid giant bolt nut thing in there counterclockwise like normal bolts when you take them off. You know, turn it to the left or whatever you want to call it, and it's supposed to come off. I've been trying to figure out one of those things all night and I couldn't get it. Well, you know, just stick the right tool in there, you'll be alright. So there we go. Shortened to 97-inch wheelbase, got 3.9 in it. It's a GMT 800, 1999 GMC Sierra 1500 frame. And I've got the caps for the wheels too. Neat, center caps. So that'll be cool. I've got a hitch here, but I can't figure out any place I need to put it because it's attached to the old back section of the frame. It's really bad. The hitch is still in fairly decent shape, or I might just put this hitch a friend of mine gave me on it, because it fits exactly in between the frame rails. That's pretty neat. That's a brand new one almost, so I might just put this on instead. It'll look cool. I don't really have another truck to put it on. There's my cross member I welded in the back of here. It holds it. Quality Harbor Freight welds. I found out that Harbor Freight wire welders, if you give them enough current, they'll make a half decent weld. I'm going to convert it to DC eventually so it makes a half decenter weld. Make it like 5/8 decent. I had to replace this entire section of the frame except for the very top rail because of rust, and the guy didn't see that. It did see it, or it was pretty hard to see under there. Either didn't see it or didn't want to tell me. I'm guessing probably just didn't see it because it looked like it was solid. There's one more piece I got to do over there. I got to just weld a piece of L channel in there. That'll hold her. It's under the 2x4 if you're looking. Whatever. Look at the 2x4. I got the torsion bar mount. Yeah, me no top good. I had a concussion last year, and it's been about 1.5 years. I'm gradually recovering from that. It's irritating, but I'm not saying that people with speech impediments are irritating. I'm just saying that the concussion is irritating, and the person who rear-ended me is irritating. Also, the insurance company that's continually trying to screw me. So anyways, I lowered this torsion bar mount so I'd have enough room in between here. Now this is the worst. This is 1 1/4 phone widths in here, and that's plenty. Because as the truck goes down, that drive shaft goes up. The truck, car, whatever. So it can't possibly smack the torsion bar mount. Oh yeah, here's the car. Oh, car and the other truck. 1990 Dodge Daytona. Quality automobile, except when they get salty. So I figure I'm going to just take the back axle out of here, which you can't see because I'm in the way of the light. And I've got that frame shortened just about so that it'll go inside of the bounds of the car. I'm going to have to shorten the front of the frame just a little bit, move the one cross member back somewhat, because the front of the car is not quite long enough. And I'm probably going to have to mount this thing up pretty high on the frame because the motor's in kind of an awkward place. That's the only place I could really put it because, you know, Dodge motor on a Chevy frame, whatnot. That is a pretty cool looking car. I like the design. I like the open headlights better than the flip-up ones, but I'm going to make those flip-up ones work too. The body control module, as with all Chrysler products of that era, is completely junk. So it's going to get replaced by something I designed myself, which isn't very hard. This 80s stuff is like banging rocks together, 80s and 90s even. Depends on what it is. If it's something that's not like super high end, usually it's even easier because the more higher end it is, the more garbage is electronically controlled, and the more computer garbage there is in there, and the more, of course, there is to fail miserably and be difficult to repair. And I got into electrical engineering as a profession, so I really don't trust computer stuff. This will look a lot better once it gets on a set of great big old GMC rims, which ironically just so happen to have the exact same wheels on my Ram 50. I have a Dodge with a Chevy motor on top of Chevy wheels, and this Dodge with a Dodge motor on top of Chevy frame. And there's a 35 kilowatt generator that runs. I still need to get it making electricity. That's a project. These are nice tires. A Turo Trailblade something or other. They do real good in the snow in Ohio. There's the deal. Not quite sure how high this car is going to sit, but it's going to be pretty far up. I'm probably going to need a step on here to get in. Even me being 8 feet tall and everything. I think it turned out okay. I mean, I wasn't really expecting much. I was expecting to abandon the project about 2 weeks into getting it. But I got it May 7th and I'm still going at it. So, and it runs. You know, Yin's just heard it. It's on the factory computer too. I don't really trust that. It's a JTEC, 1998. Motor's out of a 98 Dodge van. I think B1500, 15 passenger. I could not imagine. It came from some university over in PA, in the hills, in western PA. I can't imagine putting a 3.9 in a 15 passenger van and hauling around 15 college students in it, up and down the hills of PA, unless they were going real slow in town or something. Maybe it was just a shuttle. I don't know. But whatever it is, that couldn't have been easy going up and down them hills. Although it is a 3-speed, it's a whatchamacallit, 32 RH, lockup converter and everything. It's not going to be the best on gas, but it'll get there. I've got that 545 RFE in the garage, but I can't use it with this 3.9 because flex plate problems. The older engines and the newer transmissions aren't compatible flex plate wise. I'm having a hard time getting one made or getting one that'll fit. Well, they never really made one that fit. And I was thinking about making one, but it's got to flex some, and I don't think my welds are all that flexy. We'll try it and see maybe sometime. I got enough 3.9s laying around here. Shoot, maybe I'll put that Chevy 3.1 on it. I built that up. That's about ready to go. Not a bad motor. And I like these 3.9s. They're, nobody wants them so they're cheap. And you do stuff like that Dodge Dakota there. That thing's got 242,000 miles on it. It's still going. And most of those miles are actually longer miles than it says because it's got way too big of tires on the back of it. That was my father's old truck, if anybody wonders. He's still around, but he just sort of, I got a new job and he didn't like me driving my old beater S10 all the way up to Cleveland and whatnot, so he gave me that. And I just sort of used it. Then he kind of sneaked it on me. He bought a new truck and gave me this one when I came to bring it back. Okay, that was nice of him. The only real problem I've had with that, the worst problem has been the water pump and the radiator. And of course the brakes and the wheel bearings on the front, right front wheel bearings. I think I probably broke it somehow. And the worst of it, the hardest thing to change on that was this stupid damn thing on the back of the engine. Dodge put this little crankshaft sensor, which I'm going to change on this one too. You got to have the right tool. And then you got to have little tiny fingers, which mine are not. Banana for scale. 2x4 for scale. That's how big my hands are. They're not little. So it's hard to get those back in because my fingers are too big too. But I did it. I had to use a jack to move the engine forward a little bit on the mounts because the mounts have a little bit of play in them. And I suppose it'll be different in this thing because the car's going to sit way up over top of the engine. But I'm going to change it for a new one and keep a spare on hand anyway because that's a pain in the ass. Eventually I'm going to put a pair of Speedoinos on it, 60 degrees out of phase, so that one of them's hooked up to half the cylinders, the other one's hooked up to the other half. They just fire alternatively. One per bank. That'll be kind of neat. Let's see if this thing has a light. That way? Light? No, it won't. I poop on the grave of whoever invented this phone. This thing is an LG and it's terrible. It's an AT&T LG. It's just kind of not real nice to use. I like my Alcatel. It was a nice phone, but it broke. So I'm figuring I'm going to put some magnets on this here crankshaft doohickey. I've got a couple of spares in the garage. I'm just going to use one of them and stick it on the drill press, put a rotary indexable doohickey on it, put 36 minus 1 little magnets in there and use my homemade Hall effect sensor. Oh, I'll be releasing a board for that before too long. I figure everybody else could use their own Hall effect sensor that they build themselves. That'll be neat. And I need to get some bell housing bolts. Those are 3/8. Actually, I've got them. I just need to put them in. Well, that's about it for now. There's my fan, because I'm fat and I'm old and I'm working outside and it's hot. So, fan. I guess the next step is just tear that rear end cover off of there. Get the brakes fixed up, which I'm sure it's a Chevy, so that none of the brakes are going to actually work. I'm going to have to probably change all the calipers and all the lines. Figure out how to hitch this Chevy brake system up that there little Dodge master cylinder. And the other question I have is, will the Dodge car master cylinder work these giant Chevy brakes? I'm not sure. Because the car is supposed to have drum brakes on the back and disc on the front. And this has got disc all the way around and they're big. I'm guessing since it's got a smaller bore, it'll probably have more effect per pedal travel. I just have to make sure that I don't max out the pedal travel to stop the car. If I do, I've got another Dodge van master cylinder. Looks like it'll fit on the car. It's bigger than the car one, but still smaller than the truck one. So it should give me a little bit more mechanical advantage, because I like not having to really stand on the brake pedal to make it stop. That's annoying, especially on hills, or if you're in Western PA on the heels. Yeah, that's about it for now. I'm going to work on it some more. Tear that rear end cover off, which is rusted completely solid, and bolts are all, the hexes are rusted off of them, so I'm going to have to use my backward twisty thing to take them off. Probably end up changing the damn rear end over the stupid cover bolts. I don't know. Hopefully not. Hopefully I just jinxed the jinx so it'll work. Well, that's it. I'll see you later.